And finally, after 6.5 years, I'm finally going to get around to doing a review on the BK9. Stay tuned. And check us out. We're back in the fallout shelter, and we are here with a knife review of the BK9. It's a long process to sort of test a knife like this. You just don't get a lot of opportunity to get this knife into the field as much as it deserves or you would want to. So the little history on the knife. I got the knife in late 2011, early 2012. Can't remember which. And took it out in the field, used it a couple times, put it on the shelf, and it sat. And it sat for a couple of years. Not that I didn't want to take it into the field. I just had other things I was testing at the time, and the places that I was hiking, something this heavy just wasn't really what I wanted to carry. So, that being said, got it back out, did a little bit of work on the profile of the edge, and started using it quite a bit. So, let's start with the sheath. The sheath that I got was this one. The BK9 that I got here came with the companion knife, and we're going to talk about that as well. It's just a standard nylon sheath. Has a little bit of a place here to put it through your belt. I've never had this on my belt. It was always inside a pack. There was a period of time that I had this Kydex sheath, and this is for the BK9 as well. I did have this on a belt. Some people say that with the nylon it's going to hold moisture, blah, 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 your knife's going to rust. I'm here to tell you it's 1095 Crovan. It's a really good steel. It's going to get some rust regardless of how you carry it, whether you carry it in this, or whether you carry it in this. That's the way it works. But that doesn't mean that the knife is junk. Spoiler alert, I'm going to highly recommend this knife at the end, but I am going to give you the pros and cons. First, take a look at this. It does have a decent bit of use. Let's see if we can get a better view here. If you look at these, you can see the rust on the Allen heads there. And then, I don't know if it's going to come out, but there are some small specks on the blade. You can see there. The knife is, if you don't keep it lubricated in some form or fashion, moisture will get to it, and you do get rust, especially on the palm. You will get rust. The blade itself, if you just rub on it just a touch with Scotch-Brite, it comes off. It's not anything that's pitted or damaged or anything. It just any little bit of moisture, it will rust. I put a lanyard on it. The first drawback I'm going to talk about are these grips. They are very, very smooth, and if you're in the wintertime and you're in the field, these get very slick. Hence this. You don't want this thing flying out of your hands. It'll do some damage. From the factory, the blade was incredibly sharp. Hats off to K-Bar. They send this, and it's hair popping sharp. I did a little bit of work to the profile and backed it off. Being that it's a carbon steel, it does take an edge very, very well, very quickly, I might add. I've never had a problem bringing it back to where it was incredibly sharp. Um, it does have the pommel on the backside. Um, Basically, I use this to baton through wood and different types of bushcraft. Um, this is a little bit much for like a day bag. I don't think I would take this much of a blade with me. If you had room for it and it didn't put you overweight in any way, I would recommend it. It's just the getting into the specs. The steel on this is a pound. It comes in at a little over a pound. The blade is 1095 Crovan. It's clip point. The edge angle is 20 degrees. I backed mine off just a little bit more than that. It is made in the USA. The sheath is made in China. Blade thickness is, make sure I get it right, is 3/16. So it's almost 1/4 inch. It has heft. It does chop, and it chops very well. Like I said, though, the grips are sort of a drawback, because when you get the swinging this around, it will have a tendency to want to fly out of your hand. But they do make aftermarket grips, and there's quite a few different companies that make them. I think for my use, I'm thinking about doing some type of paracord handle on it. I don't really see me taking this one into the field as much as I thought I would. I don't know yet. I got time to decide. But this is part one. Even when side note, when I reprofiled the edge on this, it does not take long. The steel it holds an edge well, but it's very workable. It's not ridiculously hard to where you have to work to sharpen it. It's just, if I could get this looking back and say the BK7, which could still happen, I would probably do that. BK9, just this is a more of a going out for a few or more days. Can't speak. It's a lot of knife. The companion knife that come with this one is the BK13. This version of the blade is a stainless. Well, let's do this. You don't need words. And this, you can see where I've backed it off quite a bit as far as the relief. This little gem right here, you can just about do open heart surgery with it. This is an excellent food prep knife. It's a full flat grind. Once you get this edge on it, it stays. You have to work a little bit more to get the edge on this. But a lot of people, because it's an American-made knife, they see that it comes with this little companion knife, and some people just kind of set them aside. Me personally, I worked with it a little bit, got it really, really sharp, really quick. It's a 440A stainless. Overall length is 5 1/4. Blade length's 2 1/4. You can still get just this on Amazon for about 24 bucks. I'll put links down below. The version that comes, I shouldn't say that comes with it now. This currently is being made by K-Bar as the BK13CP. It's $40. It's the Becker Remora, and it as well is in a 1095 Crovan. It's a coated stainless, or a coated black powder coating, like the full-size BK9. I think you couldn't go wrong with either. This one, I don't know. I think because I've used it so much, I think for the companion knife, having this in a stainless versus the 1095, I think this is a better option. Just personal preference, and like I said, this is goofy sharp. You can do the same thing with the BK9, but obviously with batoning and woodcraft, you're going to lose that edge pretty quick. But for food prep, this is it. The sheath, the second sheath that I have, the Kydex one, there's a couple different companies that make them. I've tried 2 of them. I'm going to assume that the person making them for one company is making them for both, because they're damn near identical. And the lockup is just goofy. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. The only thing is, once you're in this, you would have to get a second one to mount to the side. Like I said, initially when I got this, I figured this would be the solution to the little bit of moisture and rust, and it's not. At the end of the day, it's a carbon steel. It will rust. It's going to rust regardless of how you carry it. The fact that it rusts is more in how you maintain it versus carry it. So with that being said, the knife as a whole comes in a complete package. You can still find these. They're a little more pricey. Just the BK9 Becker listed, or K-Bar listed at $148. You're not going to pay that. You can pay about $80 for it on Amazon. You're going to spend about $40 on the 1095 Remora, and then if you get the Chinese made 440A, you get it for about $25. So you can choose which one you want. Again, for the food prep knife, I highly recommend the stainless. Some people cry foul because it's Chinese made versus American made. At the end of the day, for me, it works. So that's my overall view. Again, how you maintain it is more important than how you carry it as far as corrosion. So that's all I got on that. Again, I've had it for 6.5 years. I would have to say total, I've probably had it in the field 6 or 7 times. It's never failed. There's no chips, no dings, nothing. A little bit of rust here and there. Other than that, highly recommended. Replace the handles. So that being said, that's my review of the BK9 and the companion blade. We've got some more reviews coming. This one took a while. Sometimes software isn't my forte. So until next time, stay sharp, keep a tight shot group, and rock on.